Welcome back, everybody, to Lesson 9 of Pro Tools 10 for Windows users and the absolute beginner. Here we are. We've added a bunch of different types of tracks and created group tracks and did some sliding around in the edit menu. And we've created our first group track of the orchestra tracks here that we can see by clicking on the left of the group menu here. And we want to see all of them. We can simply click to the left of all and click to just our orchestra tracks. We can click to the left of that. So let's do one more thing with this group here. And what we're going to do is right click on the A group that we created, the orchestra group. And we're going to go up the menu and click on modify. And here's where we can make changes to our group that we created earlier. We're going to take our auxiliary track here and we're going to add it to our A orchestra group track. All right, select it here. We're going to hit add and we'll see that it shows up in our currently listed tracks in this group. And we're going to go OK. So you'll notice now that when we move the fader for our aux track, that it moves all the faders in our assigned group. And you can see that here we have A orc, A orc, A orc, A orc, A orc. They're all in the same group. So they're all linked together. Now this makes it very, very handy to assign volumes and manipulate volumes in relation to other tracks going on. So if we want to, again, get that back up to 0, we simply hold Alt and click on it, and everything pops back up to 0 very, very quickly. So let's take a look now. With any one of these faders in the group, we'll see that the same thing happens. All of them move as a group. And oftentimes that's what we want, but sometimes not so much. We might want to manipulate the sound of one track apart from the others. And we can do this by holding down the Windows key. So if we hold that down, we can make an adjustment to one track or another track and release the Windows key. And now they all move as a group once again. Very, very nice. Very, very handy feature to have for sure. Now, when I held down Alt and clicked on the fader again, everything in that group gets set back to 0. All right, so we can make changes with the window key and everything holds still. But if we do reset with the Alt key, it'll erase any kind of settings or changes that we had, and everything defaults back to 0. So let's create yet another group. All right, we're going to group the remaining tracks together. So our perk track, other perk track, and our synth track. Let's group those together. We'll do the same thing. Select their track names here. Head on up to the track menu. Select group. And you'll see that the BID is selected already for us. We have the tracks that we selected down here in our mix window. And we definitely want a mix edit group. And let's say we'll call this perk and synth. How about that? All right, and we'll OK that. And you'll see immediately it pops up here in our group list. So we have our B group and we have our A group. Very nicely laid out for us. So if we click on one of the faders here, you can see here when we select on our groups here in the group list, we can manipulate the tracks as we have before. If we unhighlight it, then we can also manipulate the tracks on an individual basis and then relock the group. That's another way of doing it instead of the Windows shortcut key. But the Windows shortcut key I find to be much quicker and simpler to use. All right, and we can set those back to 0. We get everything back to 0 there. All looking good. Now let's take a listen to our tracks here, the non-orchestral tracks, and see what we got. Very cool. All right, so that wraps up lesson 9. Come back for lesson 10 and we'll dive into some more good stuff. Thanks a lot. See you then.